Today is December 9th, 2020. Welcome to the Rotary Club of Carbondale. Our guest speaker today is our very own Sierra Allen. I want to thank Gail Kronig for being our greeter today. And now it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sharon Harris Johnson, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, if you would join me. I pledge allegiance to the
flag
of the United States
of America
and to the
and
republic
to the republic for
one
which it
nation,
stands,
under God,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sharon. Moment of reflection today in the crazy year that 2020 is. Decided to go with a Darwin quote. It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. And boy, have we all had to adapt to change this year. For our song time today, because I didn't want to do that. For song time today, I decided to give a shout out to Gail White. So I went this past weekend and took my kids downtown Carbondale to the floats. There were 4 floats out. The one that's not pictured is the one with the flying reindeer. I just didn't get a good picture of that one apparently while I was out there with them all lit up. But as you can see, our Rotary float is right there front and center. It was fantastic, so I figured we'd go with a classic Rotary song today. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
R-O-T-A-R-Y
is known by land and sea.
from me, from me, to what the most who serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary.
All right. So once again, thank you to Gail for working with the city and getting that set up. It was fantastic, and it's funny as we were on our way to go get some dinner on Sunday night. We decided not to cook, and we went through Wendy's, but I loaded the kids in the car to go pick up dinner instead of going by myself. And they said, "Dad, when's that parade this year? Are they canceling that due to the virus?" And yeah, sorry guys, it's just how things happen this year. And then we turned the corner and they lit up, and they were so excited to be able to go out there and see this. See a message in the chat about how long is it up? It was up just this weekend, I believe. I don't believe they're doing it again. Yeah, it was only Saturday and Sunday this weekend. So, all right. Time for introduction of guests. And we've got Gail White as our guest introducer today.
And I don't see any guests. We're always happy to have visitors, but I don't see any among us today.
That's all right. Thank you, Gail. Club announcements. First one, this is a big one and it's urgent. The Rotary Foundation grant applications are due December 12th. So while Sierra's chatting, I will pull that link up and post it directly into the chat window. Last I heard, we only had, I think, 1 application in. So, any youth serving nonprofits, we've got a great charitable trust that we can, or charitable foundation We need to make sure that these funds get out to the community. I think everybody heard a couple weeks ago the impact that our foundation had on so many great nonprofits. So check that out, the Rotary of Carbondale.org/foundation. Apparently I have that in there twice. But I will copy this and put it in the chat window here shortly.
Rick,
Yes.
please make sure that everyone knows that those have to be mailed and postmarked before December 12th.
Yes. Must be mailed and postmarked before December 12th.
Thank
It's just
you.
The way I believe that's the way the bylaws are set up for that, right? That they have to be postmarked by that date.
Well, it's usually around that date, but they do have to be postmarked and by mail.
Okay.
So email submissions are not acceptable?
They have not been, Jerry. It's always been through the Postal Service.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. More club announcements. The club officer election for Rotary year 2021-2022. Got a president-elect of Brooke Guffman, and the nominee and designee are vacant at this time. Secretary-elect is vacant at this time. I was going to change this last week. I'm going to do it now. This is treasurer-elect. Is vacant currently by Jim Grant. If you're interested in being a committee chair, continuing on in one of those roles, please let me know. We'll be reaching out here shortly to discuss those things. Our district grant project update. Jerry or Shane, do you have any additional updates? I have not heard any additional updates yet on the Kiwanis Inclusive Playground project. I see Jerry shaking his head. Shane, anything on your end?
Yeah, the phase one is technically done. If you drive by there now, phase one is complete. I believe that was in the Southern Illinois newspaper a week back or so. So they're still raising funds for what they consider phase two, which will be the second step expansion, which includes some of the what we'll call flooring, a soft flooring underneath the playground equipment, and an expansion of the playground. But I don't believe they've announced a date when they're going to start phase two. I think it's still just in the fundraising. So they're still moving forward.
What kind of funds do they need from our club?
Rick, do you want to cover that?
Yeah, so we still need to bring in, I believe it's about $800 total.
We have the funds, but we just haven't transferred it.
Jim, you're muted. I saw you start to speak up there.
We don't have the funds to give right now. We're working on that, but we've given 2,400. So there's another 800 we need to send them.
That's where we stand with the Kiwanis project. We do need a project for 2021 still. So if you have any service project ideas, the way the district grant works is we supply 1/3 of the funding, and the district supplies 2/3 of the funding to complete the project. So in order to get those funds, we have to provide 33% of it. Club announcements, our matching club donation challenge. I want to thank Linda Meredith again for her contribution in November, and we are booked up all the way through June of 2021. So if you'd like to be next on that list, please let me know, let Shane know, let Jim know, and we'll get you on that list. Doodle polls, next week's doodle poll is posted in the chat. So right now, I think this was probably a week ago. Shane was the only one that had signed up. I think we have a couple more in there now. it's just like handing the clipboard around, but this time around we're doing a virtual clipboard. So don't forget to participate and take part. 100 Little Things virtual board. Shane, did I see this up to 50 today online?
So, yeah, there was a couple projects that were completed over the last week that I was notified of that I just hadn't updated the number. So the number's at 50 right now. And probably 51 or 52 if we add what Gayla was talking about with Meals on Wheels, meal delivery. So I'll review that and get that updated in the next couple of days.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We are well on our way for the canned goods. I expect that to be finished out by the end of the weekend. So we'll be
Rick?
doing. Go ahead.
On the Toys for Tots, we're working on that. I have made deliveries to the organization. We're still in need of toys to meet the 100, but I know there's a lot of organizations that are trying to raise Toys for Tots, but this is a really big year for them because of COVID. So if anyone does want to participate and help with Toys for Tots, just please let me know and I'll be happy to do what I can to get the toys there, deliver them.
Great. Thank you, Gayla. This weekend, this Saturday from 10 to 2 at the First United Methodist Church in Carbondale, the Scouts will be having a drive-through food drive. Some of you may have seen on WSIL. Last weekend, Murfreesboro did one and filled a tent. They did over 1,200 food items and I believe $800 raised that day. People driving through Murfreesboro, seeing the tent set up, seeing that drive, and bringing food out to it. So we also have food bins throughout the region. The reason I say I think we're up over 100 already is because I have a trunk full of non-perishable food items I picked up from Kroger yesterday. I went and emptied the bin there, and we've got some volunteers that are emptying those bins every few days. So if you see a bin out, whether it's a Dollar General or Massey Dental or Hudgens Orthodontics, there's a bunch of bins around the area. Kroger, the co-op, they've all got food bins. If it's empty, don't think that people aren't donating. We're just emptying them out. So it was overflowing yesterday at Kroger when I went by. Really happy to do that. So thank you. Or I just got a message. We'll get some promo on Friday on the radio here as well. So thank you all. To be 50 projects completed out of our 100 Little Things as we're halfway through the year is great. So we can continue this goal, and I think if we complete 100 Little Things, 100 service projects in our 100th anniversary, that's just fantastic. So thank you all for your hard work. The Carbondale Warming Center Lunch Sponsorship Project. Once again, this is funded by our members through their giving. Today's lunch is a beef ravioli with steamed broccoli, house salad, garlic knots, and strawberry cheesecake. I want to eat there for lunch. It's going to be better than the peanut butter and jelly I'm going to have in a little bit. They're also brainstorming some Christmas treat bags for the residents. Other than, homemade cookies and fudge, they're looking for gloves, scarves, earmuffs. Any input we have would be appreciated. So that's a message from Patty Stokes. That's what they're working on. So I know it was part of our projects to do 100 gloves and scarves, and we talked about coats with the police department last week. So this is another opportunity for us to do that. Jim, do you know have you gotten any updates on where we stand with funding for the lunch project?
I don't know offhand. I was going to make a report to the board at our meeting when we meet.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you, sir.
We're paid through December.
Perfect.
So.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. District news. Membership challenge. We as a club can get $100. The contest does end at the end of the month. So that's across the district. Satellite Club Rotarians do count. So I know we're working on that Murfreesboro Club. And our club did vote to sponsor that. So it's just a matter now of getting that off the ground. Shane, do you have any updates on where we stand with that one? I know you were championing that. Did we lose Shane?
Yeah, I sat in on a membership meeting earlier this week. Just I'll give you a quick update if that's okay. Year to date, last year the district lost 68 Rotarians. So think about that. 68 Rotarians are gone year to date last year. This year we're only down 5 total in the district, and what that means is that district membership contest is really working. We are actually in 4th place in the group. By adding 2 people, there are only 12 clubs that have added any members out of 48 clubs. The Mount Vernon Club added a satellite club this year. They've added 11 members. The O'Fallon Club, Belle Claire Club has added 11 members. And then there's one club that's added 3, and we've added 2, and the rest have all added net 1. There are 36 clubs out of 48 that have lost members this year. One or a few of them are net 0. They've all lost members, but they may have added 1 to offset it back to 0. So membership is critical in the district. So we're doing our part. And to wrap back up to what Rick said on the club in Murfreesboro, we've got 15 people interested, but we've only got paperwork back from 7 or 8, and I need 8 to actually launch the club. So if you know anybody in that area that wants to join a club in Murfreesboro, let me know, because we still got a little bit of time to get it done this calendar year, but I need 8 to launch it as a satellite club. And right now I don't have paperwork back from 8 people, so we're really close. So you'll hear some more coming in January about satellite clubs and innovative clubs, but there's going to be a lot of push from the district to start growing membership in ways that we've never thought or talked about. So I'll take questions and hand it back to Rick.
Shane, did you get paperwork back from that one individual you and I spoke about?
No, not yet. So you might want to prod that person again and see if they're a yes or a no.
Ella's comment in the chat. Yes, Shane would be the point of contact right now for somebody joining the Murfreesboro Club. So, correct, Shane?
Yeah, I'm running point. The simple thing is it's a simple 1-page. It's even quicker than the form that we use to add members to our club. It's just some basic information. So, yeah, just if you have people that are interested, you can send me an email, call me. I'll walk you through what I need.
Great. Thank you, Shane. Rotary International news. Polio update. We're going to continue to keep these slides on here because of how important it is, especially as we move into a year where we've got another disease that we're waiting on vaccinations for. The more people we can get inoculated to polio, the better, and the more awareness of the need for this and the need for inoculation against things, especially in 2020. I really think it'll be a major benefit to the world if we can show that polio is gone, that these vaccinations truly do work. So this is a great opportunity. Now it's time for some of your good news. Who's got some good news to share today? I guess I'll kickstart things. I mentioned it before everybody was on the call, but we do have, and I'm going to stop my share and then find the flyer and I'll post it here. We do have a Hardee's Day going on right now, all day through 6 p.m. tonight. 20% of the receipts of people who mention scouting or the scouting food drive, when they go through the drive-through at area Hardee's restaurants, 20% of those receipts will come directly back into scouting to go to the food pantries in our areas. So we talked earlier in the month about the text to give for scouting. Text scout food to 91999, and those contributions are being broken out specifically by your zip code you provide, in order to be donated to the food pantries in our area. And the Hardee's is going to be done the same way. So it's going to be broken out to the food pantries in those communities.
Rick, I'd just like to give a thank you to Jerry Molumby for helping get the Rotary float out last weekend to get it downtown ready for display. An interesting side note, when I went by Monday morning, which by the way, last weekend was the only time the float will be displayed publicly this year. But when I went by Monday morning early to check, interesting side note that the two fellows from the city who were there helping to take things apart to return the floats to their storage areas, noticed that on our float we have the no polio sign displayed, and they didn't know what that meant. So we take for granted, I think, since it's an issue that's close to our hearts, that everybody is aware of how widespread polio was and still is. But it was a good opportunity to kind of interpret or explain our message and our concern about trying to eradicate polio. But Jerry, thank you very much for your help in getting the float set up this weekend.
Rick, I have some good news. Can I go?
Go ahead.
If you remember back a few months, Egyptian Electric launched a program called Operation Roundup, where you can round up your electric bill to the nearest dollar, and that money goes to a 501c3 charitable foundation. Well, that organization is run by an independent advisory board, and we do have 2 board seats that are available. So if you're of the mind that you want to take part in another 501c3 charitable organization from a board seat level, please let Brooke, Brad, or I know by the end of December. All we need is your name and contact information to pass it along. That advisory board will review applications and decide where money goes in a 10-county community. You don't have to have electric service from Egyptian Electric to actually be on this advisory board. So if it's something you want more information about, my contact information's in the chat if you want more information about it. So it's another way to another organization's helping. So think about it.
Yeah, thank you, Shane. That's going to be a good one. So this is the share night flyer, and I can get this to Shane to email out with the post meeting minutes, or I can email it out to folks here later if you'd like. It's also all over Facebook. These flyers are accepted at all of the other locations that we have that we're working with: Murfreesboro, DeCoin, Heron, Carterville, Marion, West Frankfort, Benton, Cape Girardeau if you're heading down that way. So we've got a number of them that are doing it, but this is the flyer, and 20% of that immediately comes back to us. So any other good news today? Somebody's got to have something. It's a sunny day.
Well, we were already discussing the 100 projects, 100 little things projects prior to getting on here. So I don't know if that counts as a good news item, but you know, some of them are completed. But I don't have any other good news outside of the items for Rotary.
I don't know if it's good news or just news, but the school district announced today that they are starting break early, and Friday will be their last day until January. So they're gonna take a couple weeks off and give the kids a little extra break, which I know my kids need it after these last couple weeks of remote learning, and they could use the break. So
Which school district, Rick? Which district?
Giant City. Which, if they're doing it, I expect other districts to do it as well, because they tend to all work in a lot of them right now are working in conjunction with each other.
I have perhaps some good news. My granddaughter, Chloe, is going to graduate this Saturday with a master's in service, and the graduation will be virtual, so we won't get to go, but we'll go into the house and I guess see it on, she's going to get a master's degree in social work. She's done very well. Looking forward to join that team.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. Sergeant at Arms, Gail White, the floor is yours.
Well, I've lost the screen to see everybody. Does anybody have a big celebration event that I'm not aware of that would qualify for a contribution to our foundation? So I'm not aware of anybody misbehaving. I was going to suggest a fine against anyone who did not come out to see the Rotary float on display this past weekend. However, you can get a get out of jail card if you have contributed to one of our 100 little projects or to any of the projects we're supporting, like the warming center. I know that Carl and Linda made a generous contribution last week that I was able to deliver some safety masks and sanitizers and personal hygiene products. And Faith, I'm aware that you donated some cleaning products to the warming center. So those all qualify to get out of jail. And if you haven't done something good this past week, it's not too late for you to do something good to avoid a fine, but we're on the honor system here. So if you don't manage to do something good, please consider making a contribution to our foundation.
Now it's time for me to unmute myself. It's time to welcome our guest speaker, and our guest speaker today is our very own Sierra Allen. So Sierra, the floor is yours.
All right, guys, give me a minute. And if you see Yarn a lot, as I hit up last night, kind of late binge watching TV shows, which I shouldn't have. But here we are. So everyone's turn with my presentation. All right, can everybody see that? It should pop up. Can everybody see that?
Yes, we can see it, Sierra.
Good. Looks like I'm having some tech issues.
It may help, Sierra, if you download it. I don't know if you can download it and present it outside of your web browser, but I often have issues with my web browser while Zoom is running.
Yeah, right, give me a second here. Let's set in my one student.
Hey, Carl, while Sierra's working through that, won't you tell us a joke? I'm not gonna let you out, man.
Of course, today is the day.
I don't have anything to say, Shane. I've got nothing.
One of these days you'll come prepared with one, won't you?
I will from now on, I promise, yes. Anybody else have any?
Yeah, I've got a really bad Christmas joke.
Okay.
It goes ho, 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 thud. That's Santa laughing his head off.
Okay.
That works
was
great.
bad.
That works great for third graders and below.
Jerry, I think that might be deserving of a fine.
All right, guys, thanks for the commercial break. Okay.
I'm going to cash in my credits from the float deal.
All right, so today's presentation is over the Grace Movement. I'm the executive director, which is my not-for-profit organization. And so today's presentation discussion points will talk about my experience and how the Grace Movement kind of started. We'll go over the mission statement, the organization goals, the 3 pillars of Grace Movement, what is Grace Kids, and then looking ahead for our 2021 goals. So that's a lovely picture of myself. So my passion for advocating for domestic violence, it came from my personal experience. After leaving a 2-year abusive relationship, I realized how many women don't leave due to financial instability, children, or just simply low self-esteem. So once I left for good, I dedicated my efforts to helping women leave and become independent. The goal of the Grace Movement is to provide women and children with a one-stop shop of resources to help them move away from abusive relations. And so the mission statement of the Grace Movement is a community pillar developed to serve, empower, and support women affected by domestic violence through community resources. And so these are our organizational goals. We want to highlight fundraising initiatives, job placement, mental and physical health advancement as well. And just to talk a little bit about those. So for our fundraising initiatives for next year, I'll talk about it a little later, but I definitely wanted to hit home with a little bit more of initiatives besides just domestic violence. So I have high blood pressure, so I would like to highlight high blood pressure, also Black History Month, Child Abuse Awareness Month. So those are some of the things that we want to highlight in 2021. As far as job placement, I would like to help the community as far as just researching different jobs, helping them get ready for the jobs, whether that includes the interview process, helping them shop for clothes, just the overall prep of what it's like to get a job, even after and during while they have the job. And as far as mental and physical health advancement, it's really important to me, especially being a single mom and just a woman of color, to make sure that my mental and physical health is all together, because if it's not, then I won't be able to support and provide for my family properly if I'm not together. And so I just want to stress that with different, whether it be events in the community or Zoom meetings, just to highlight different ways to kind of keep those different tools in your toolbox as far as mental and physical health. So the 3 pillars of the Grace movement is first, Grace Kids. So the Grace Kids initiative is a child care service operated and owned by low-income members of surrounding communities. This pillar of Grace movement aims to bring jobs and childcare to communities to fight systemic poverty. Our fundraising initiatives, as I spoke of earlier, are geared towards bringing awareness to social and health issues in surrounding communities. And then also our enrichment courses consist of empowering information relating to mental and physical advancement, lifestyle enrichment techniques, and women health resources. So I also wanted to give a mission statement for Grace Kids just to kind of make it clear as far as what Grace Kids exactly is. Grace Kids is a pillar developed within the Grace Movement organization. Grace Kids serves, empowers, and supports low-income and single-parent families with childcare needs for ages 0 to 12. And so just to kind of dive in a little bit deeper with Grace Kids, I kind of wanted to break down what the curriculum style and the learning benefits of Grace Kids will consist of. So after doing research and just trying to decide what's the best way to teach my child, I figure other children his age would best benefit from investigative project-based learning. And it's just something different than what the typical community, it's different as far as like what the school district offers as far as, learning. And so investigative project-based learning is a teaching method in which students learn by actively engaging in real world and personally meaningful projects. And so some of the learning benefits of investigative project-based learning has a positive impact on students' genuine interest in learning materials, development of career interests, and their sense of purpose. The blossoming of organic relationships between the teacher and the student opens the creative space for students who want to learn. So with all that being said, just to kind of make it more simple, I found, well, one, my son really doesn't like online learning, and I think it's because he's not challenged enough, and also they're not going over the material that is interesting to him. And so like during the summertime when they had the break for quarantine, what I found out is like it's easier if I let him lead. And so we would go over different topics that would interest him naturally. So if he'd like, hey mom, what kind of dinosaur is this? And I'm like, I don't know, let's Google it. And so then we had like a whole series of, learning about dinosaurs. And that can include watching documentaries, just like imaginative play with the different dinosaur toys. Then there's also like video games with dinosaurs. He loves video games. So he was still learning about dinosaurs, but it was in a way that was interesting to him. And so that's the type of curriculum style that we want to offer to the children that attend the program. And so this is just an example of what investigative project-based learning looks like for the ages of 3 to 5. So inside the classroom, the teachers will kind of ask the children, what do they want to learn about? What do they wonder about the specific topics? And then after, they'll go over what they learned. So the example that I just gave, basically, that's how the teachers would formulate, how each child learns individually. And so it's more of a hands-on with each child between the teacher and the student, because it gives the student the opportunity to lead and also forces the teacher to realize that each student doesn't learn the same. And so I think it'll be really interesting. Obviously, this type of classroom setting would be more of a smaller group because each child would take their own journey into learning about the same topics, but in different ways. And so this wheel on the left-hand side just kind of goes through the steps of what the child would think about as far as investigative project-based learning. But that wheel is more so geared towards like middle school and high school. The only difference as far as like the middle school and the high school project-based learning wheel is that at the end, they do like a public display of the knowledge that they've learned. So that could be like through video, through poster board, or whatever they want to do to show, what they've learned. And so I really like this way of thinking as far as learning for children. And I don't see that being offered in Southern Illinois as well. And so for the school age children who would attend Grace Kids, I've compiled some research from the National Endowment for Arts Agency, and it shows that students involved in arts activities are 4 times more likely to graduate from high school and succeed in higher education. This research also shows art programs help break the cycle of systemic poverty. And this I know for a fact because I used to attend a performing arts school back home, and my major was drama. And the different activities that school opened my eyes to, it was just like a whole nother world. So like we would take field trips to see live productions. Like that's just, I mean, I'm sure that a class could do that, in a regular school district, but where I come from, that was just like not heard of. So it really opened my eyes to what I can become as an adult. And also it opened my eyes to college because I wasn't thinking about that at all. And a lot of my friends from the other schools that just went to a regular school, they didn't go to college. And so the arts program really kind of gave me that extra boost of confidence to want to be more than just, I guess, a worker at Walmart. And not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it just helped me open up the different talents and gifts that I have. And so we would want to offer film and drama, nature clubs, arts and crafts, tech clubs, anything that's not available in this area as far as like an after school outlet or activity for the children. That's what we want to do. And obviously we will open that up for them to decide what's best. And then we could, bring in volunteers and, kind of get the club set up that way. And so just to talk about our goals for 2021, looking ahead, so far, our goal is $20,000 to get this project started. So far, we raised $9,650. I made it a personal goal for our deadline to be August of 2021. I'm sure it'll be pushed back. A lot of things have been pushed back this year due to COVID. But I'm still trying to stick to that deadline. And then also just to highlight some of our the community calendar for next year, that some of the things that we want to get involved in. Black History Month, Child Abuse Awareness Month in April, High Blood Pressure Awareness Month, and then Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So for May and October, so in October, what I was doing these past 2 years was a 5K walk in support of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so I also want to do that in May. So I'm being very ambitious for 2021. This year we had a virtual walk in October online. It was weird. I mean, everything is weird this year because of COVID. And so next year I just want to take on 2 walks instead of 1. And then the last slide here is our Facebook. You can follow us at Grace Movement 12. And then we also have an Instagram account, Grace__movement. And then that's my personal email address at the bottom. So at this point, I'm done with my presentation and I'll hand it back over to Rick for any questions, comments, or feedback. So thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, Sierra. Anybody have any questions for Sierra?
One question that I have, Sierra, does Grace Movement develop and present programs for Black History Month, or do they assist others to develop the programs, or how does that operate? Or how have you planned for it to operate?
Yeah, so what I would like to do is assist. At this point, I think the only two things that I want to do next year alone are the walks, and then have other organizations if they want to come in and assist. But as far as child abuse awareness and Black History Month, I would like to assist other organizations.
Okay, thank you.
How many kids do you think, or do you hope will become involved in this? And what would it look like in a week's time, these kids' involvement?
So as far as the numbers, starting off, I wouldn't want them to be too high because the type of curriculum that we're offering is more hands-on and geared specifically towards each child. So starting off, I would say no more than 6 kids per age group, just because of staffing as well. Like, you know, if this is a startup organization, obviously I'm not gonna have, you know, funds to fund 20 teachers starting off. So yeah. Oh, you said
Thank you.
a week's time. What was the last part of the question? Am I mute?
Sierra, what ways can the local community assist this effort? What ways can we help?
Just helping out as far as like social media presence. We definitely want to gain a following that way. And I hate to be so blunt, but funds. We need money to get this off the ground. So any donations will definitely help. I just spoke with one of an organization that plans to help fund this project yesterday. So I'm waiting to get funds so that we can become an official 501c3 so that I can start fund legitimate basis and moving on from there. So it's progressing at a decent pace.
Sierra, have you connected with Maggie at Centerstone? I don't know if you're here for her presentation. The resource guides that she has. I don't know if you've seen them or not, but I think those would be a great resource for some of the efforts you're doing.
No, I haven't, but I'm writing that down right now. Well, thanks again. If anyone else doesn't have any other questions, I guess we could turn it back over to you, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. Great job. I think it's a huge undertaking to kick off a nonprofit. So great job, and hopefully we'll see some growth and continue to see you for years to come here with this. Next week, we have Jane Ott of Moms Demand Action joining us. December 23rd and 30th, there is no meeting. So after next week, we will not see you guys until 2021. I'm going to miss all of you over that period of time, but I'm also going to sleep because I have some more vacation time coming up. So that'll be nice. Now it is time for the four-way test. Faith Miller, would you please lead us in the four-way test?
Certainly. The four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Is
Is
it
it
the truth?
second,
Is it fair to all concerned?
third,
Will it
No
build
goodwill, better friendships.
and fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you so much. There's our links to our Rotary Club of Carbondale website, Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel where this will be posted. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.
See everybody next week.
All right.
Have a good week.
Good week, everybody.